On the 25th of April, the MFA announced that the people should remain at home because they feared armed confrontations on the street. But the Portuguese population clearly disobeyed the military orders to stay at home because the thirst for freedom overcame all fears. And so people took the streets to the thousands and supported the military coup to force the resignation of the leader of the regime. The people brought red carnations and distributed them to the soldiers, who stuck them in their rifle barrels, making the flower the symbol of the revolution. The revolutionary process of 74 and 75 was one of the liveliest experiences in Portuguese history. In 19 months, there were 2 failed coups, 6 provisional governments, the process of independence of the colony, several mass strike waves, demonstrations, occupations of thousands of houses, a profound agricultural reform, occupations of land, the creation of workers' cooperatives, workers' councils, trade unions, neighborhood commissions, self-managed factories, businesses, offices, newspapers, and radios. Because the thirst for freedom overcame all fears.
Hey, how about that? The thirst for freedom overcame all fears. Munson here with the Feelgood Portugal show, the offering that me and Mrs. M share with you on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock our time. I need to know what time it is in your part of the world, because actually I am feeling very relaxed. I'm hoping it's nothing to do with the blow to the head that I received that you can see. Looks like I've been in a bar fight, doesn't it? In this harsh lighting of the GMP studio here, but I can explain. I'll tell you about what happened to me in just a moment. I don't think that's why I'm feeling relaxed. I've had a really nice afternoon and evening, a little fraught in places, but generally great, and a really warm bath. It wasn't a good idea, I don't think, to have a hot bath before being with you for 2 hours. So if I do drop off, those of you who've got my WhatsApp number, just give us a little ping and give us a shout, won't you? Munson, wake up. So I hope you're well, and you can hear me okay tonight. It's always a little bit different on a Saturday night because we are on different platforms, and it just feels a little bit different, and I'm never sure if all the production stuff is right, but I'm sure I'll be the first to know if that isn't working out for you. And great to see Abu. Abu was in early with a bon night. Let's say hello to everybody who's here, shall we? Abu with a bon night. And already a bit sleepy. I'm thinking you're East Coast, United States, right? So I'm thinking it should only be 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening for you, unless you're not an early riser, but an early sleeper. There, Abu. Cindy B, just down the road from us. I've got a video to show you of Grallia. Those of you who keep a very keen eye on the YouTube channel will have seen it already. Today, but worth a second play, I think. It's just down the road. Cindy B, I'm reminded to ask you if you've been up to Grallia yet. If you haven't, I'll show you where it is, because that's where I shot this video that I'm going to share with you. And look at this. I love the do excuse me. Well, I got a booster shot yesterday, and my arm is sore. Hope it's worth it. Nothing political here. Like she hastens to add, absolutely not. I'm pleased if that's what you want to do. I'm so pleased that you were able to get access to that, Aviva. But I do understand possibly why you are, or I think I do understand why you have that suffix up there, because it can get people going, can't it? So I'm good for you. If that's what you want, would be my response for what it's worth, and I don't even need to respond, do I? Statement of fact. But the other fact, of course, is that your arm is a bit sore, so I hope that gets better soon. Knocked me for a loop for a day. Hope you better soon was Cindy's response to that. But both the booster and to your comment there, Aviva. But great to have you both here, and Baldilocks as well. Look, Baldilocks is here, always makes me giggle. That YouTube name. Good afternoon from California. Hi, Baldilocks, how you doing? And hi, Cindy. So that's good. Worth us being here this evening, just for that reason. I would say that Aviva and Cindy have been able to make contact with each other. That's fantastic. And feel free, as everybody does, to use the comments to share personal detail. Well, not too personal, But, if you need to connect with each other, do that in a safe way. Feel free. Don't mind me. Suzanne Derringer is here as well. Good night, Gumpers. Hello. And the man, of course, who wrote the Gumper theme tune. Little blast of that now. Oh, no, that's not it. Is this it? There it is. Warren, that is so good. And if you caught the early part of the early morning shows, you'll know that I've done a little edit for the new intro theme. So thanks again, Warren. If you want to say thank you to Warren, he's here with us tonight. He moves among us on the screen. And thank you for your excellent comment on YouTube as well. These are strange times, aren't they? And it is bringing out, I think it's probably bringing out the best and the worst in us, isn't it, as a society, as human beings. And that's part of what I want to talk about tonight, if I may, with you. 2022, nature or nurture. We'll come back to that after we've said a few highs and also played the coastal action just around the corner from me. I'm trying to figure out if I'm a Gumper. Without a doubt, you are a Gumper. Do not be shamed or shy. Come on, girl. Come on, guy. Everyone who tunes in is a Gumper, really. In my eyes, I was going to say it's a very low bar of entry, but that doesn't really sell it very well, does it? Don't mean that badly. It's just like all are welcome here, unless you start behaving like a complete and utter what's it, and then we have to, I don't know, we'll put you on the naughty step for a little while. But consider, I mean, from what I know of you, Aviva, consider yourself one of us. You are a Gumper, well and truly, in my estimations, for what it's worth. And Cindy encouraging you to PM her on Expats Portugal on our forum, expatsportugal.com, of course. And it's 5 p.m. in Pittsburgh. So a very different vibe for you then than for me, as it's 10 o'clock here and I'm feeling very relaxed at 5 p.m. You still got, at that time of the evening, I'm thinking, I've still got things to do. I've still got things to do before I can really relax. Is that how it is for you? And 5 p.m. for Warren as well. It's great to have you here, Warren. And OMG, I wonder why. What's that? What's that about? Tell us more, Cindy B. Our guest, of course, on Monday evening on the Happy Homesteaders Get Out and Grow. Have you just seen this on my forehead, Cindy B? And wondering which bar I was in where I had a fight in San Martino? All will be revealed in just a moment. Nubianet is here as well. 1404 on a sunny, drowsy afternoon. Okay, so that's good. Nice weekend. You're middle of the afternoon there. Bit drowsy, a bit like me, but still a lot of the day ahead of you there whilst we're just sort of winding down here, as is Suze. Good of you to be here at midnight. Suze, good on you. Thank you for being here. Certainly a Gumper. I think we should run it past. What do you think? Is Aviva a Gumper? I would say so. Suze can have the casting vote on that, okay, as one of the top Gumpers from the community. Lisa M's here. Thank you for your enthusiasm, Lisa. Really appreciate it. And hello to you and Carlos. How you going over there? So similarly, mid-afternoon for you, right? And Victoria's here. Hola, bon night. Not out on the Raz tonight. Then there's no bars or clubs open, are there, at the moment in Portugal? So you'd have to be on the beach, having a little log fire on the beach and drinking wine out of a bottle, maybe. But not tonight, Victoria. Saturday night in the big city. What's everybody up to? Exactly. We're all here, aren't we? We're all still awake. Well done, everybody. It's 10 o'clock here in Portugal. Everyone's still just about awake. Evening, my lovelies from Owen as well. Hello, mate. How are you doing? And Jean. Hello, Jean. I've got some correspondence for you. Forgive me, a bit delayed on that, but Jean, I haven't forgotten you. Hola, Carl Louisa. And talking to Mrs. M, the kids have got into some bad habits over the Christmas period, and their bedtimes are never brilliant, I have to say. But tonight, especially naughty. And I've just seen your comment, Suzanne. Sunburn. I look like a proper Brit expat, don't I? Who's been out in the sun too long and been in a bar fight. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So 1,500 in Westwood, New Jersey for Jean. 1,700 aqui. Deset horas aqui in muito frio. So very cold over there. A bit chilly. It got really cold tonight here on the Silver Coast, I have to say. There's something going on the coast. The cold sea airs come in. Nice waves today. I'll be playing them again in a moment, Don, if you'll forgive and permit me to do that. And Suzanne, thank you. Warren, it's a great theme. It really is, isn't it? Awesome. I love it so much. It was commissioned. That makes it sound very official, doesn't it? I was very cheeky, and I asked Warren if he'd do us a Christmas tune, and he created that for us. And then I realised if I edited off the Christmassy part, it stood up alone. That's a great intro. So it's really serving us well. Thank you, Warren, for that. And I'm glad you like it, Suzanne. Bon night, Carl Marmite too. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Any more than that will arouse suspicion, I think, William. So that will be so great if you're happy to pack a couple of jars of Marmite and bring them so that when we see you, we can get that on a breakfast toast. Thank you very much, William. Appreciate that. And yes, so maybe now is the time to address this looking sunburned and the three... the scars on my forehead. What a relief. I wasn't sure, not worried. I'm pretty well behaved. Okay, this is about Gumperdom. No, you're in, Aviva. So back to this comment. It could be windburn. It could be because I've just had a hot bath, which I know is in the wrong order. I should go to that after the show rather than before, like a sportsman, but I am no sportsman. So it's not a bath after the event. It's a bath before the event. Nice and relaxed tonight. And this happened because went to Foz this afternoon. Foz de Relio, just down the road on the Silver Coast. Great place. And I say, remarking to Mrs. M about how it's got a lovely village atmosphere. Where we live in San Martino de Porto, I think it's like an exciting Riviera atmosphere. We're on the coast, and that always brings a sort of edginess and a giddiness for people, doesn't it? And a sense of transient excitement as well. People come and go. But that said, there is a sense of community and village here in San Martino de Porto, which I'm very grateful for. People live here, real Portuguese people live here, there's definitely a village atmosphere of people whose home this has been. It feels like for centuries, and so you've really got that traditional sense of Portugueseness, which I love, and I wouldn't be without. That's really important to me as a basic. And then all the excitement of being on the seaside and this beautiful little town, San Martino de Porto, with its protected bay. It's always lovely to go for a walk and have a paddle because it's never dangerous in the bay. Well, I've never known it to be dangerous. I don't know about you, Cindy. Down the road at Foz, it's a little bit more villagey, and the development is built around the lagoon, which connects to the sea, obviously. And there's a lovely atmosphere there, and there's a great little playground, children's playground. So we thought we'd do a bit of shopping and we'll get a picnic. Leclerc, if anyone's worried about coming to Portugal and not having access to sushi, may I tell you, you will not be disappointed. And I'll tell you what, for the very specialist requirements of vegan sushi, Leclerc, you can get that. You can get vegan veggie sushi and traditional sushi, very well made, very freshly made, in the store. So we did, and we had a picnic. And I had some chili, some Portuguese chili con carne. With some arroz branco, if you want me to go into the details, and some steamed broccoli as a takeaway. Really, really nice food. And we ate that in a slightly windy atmosphere of Foz de Relio. But after I'd eaten, I thought, I know, I was watching the kids on a zip wire. Excuse me. And I thought, okay, I'll go. And they were shouting over to me, oh, come on, Dad, come and have a go. And I'll show these kids how it's done. Because I saw Mrs. M on there with one of the kids. And she made a pretty good go of it. And, because when it gets to the end, there's quite a slam at the end where where the bit that hangs down comes to an abrupt stop to stop the children flying out into the lagoon, presumably, or over the fence in a Roald Dahl sort of style. And I thought, okay, I'll show the kids how this is done. Step aside, children, push the kids out of the way, jumped on the zip wire in a standing position, like commando style. Not in that way. And there I go, quite fast. And I'm thinking, okay, I've got this. And I hit the end, and I really actually hit the end. And it hit the terminal at the end there, and the metalwork of the bit I'm holding on to stops, but my head continues. Quite a big head, as you can see. It carries on with its forward momentum, and bang! And Gary Garvo was saying earlier on that it proves that we're never, that we remain a 12-year-old. Most men remain 12 years of age. And I have to say, I screamed like a 12-year-old girl when my head hit the metal. And you can see that I think that's the outer edge. And there's a little bit you know, it's the mirror image, or the actual imprint of the metalwork. And I thought, although I let out an initial squeal of concern and pain, I thought I got to show the children that I can take this in my stride. And I did. And I came home. My mum's staying with us. And she said, I told her what happened. She had no sympathy with me whatsoever. Told me I was being an idiot, basically, for showing off in front of the kids. So that's what it is. It's not from a barroom brawl or anything like that, but it's still pretty embarrassing, I have to say. Everything is open, the bars and the nightclubs, so you can get a drink down in the Algarve if you so wish. Good news, Victoria. Still celebrating the new year here on Feel Good Portugal. Had my first conversation with EI. Excellent, Aviva. How did it go? If you care to share, you're as Gumper as you feel. I feel as I identify as a Gumper. Can't go wrong. Is that one of the choices on the passport now? Gumper, if you come into Portugal, should be, shouldn't it? And yeah, shout out to all the talented musicians. That would include Warren here, who's thanking Suzanne. Okay, we're all sitting at the beach bars, then dinner. A lovely afternoon into a fun evening situation. I like how you put that, a fun evening situation, an FES hashtag on Instagram there. So yes, have a lovely fun evening situation, Victoria. Come on, Gumpers, hit that like button. Yeah, a bit slow on the like buttons. My research Marmite sounds disgusting. It seems to be either you like it or not. That's right, and it is an adjective. You can be a Marmite person, which means people either love or loathe you. That's gone into the English language as an adjective. 3 bumps, father, son, and hurts the most. Yes, indeed. Absolutely right. Thank you, Warren, for that. So that is exactly what happened. Sure, Marmite is disgusting unless you're born British and grew up on it. I suppose one could acquire a taste for it. I'll pass. Honestly, well, give us your best then. I mean, what's your cultural equivalent that you like to have on the toast? It's a little bit different, not jam, not honey, not one of the usual suspects, but what's slightly different, because we've got that other thing. If you don't like Marmite, you're unlikely to like Patum Paparium, gentleman's relish, which is a strange couple of words, isn't it? I mean, that's got to be in our erotic novel that we're collaborating on, Gentleman's Relish. That's what it's called. Look it up, Patum Paparium. And people spread that lightly on toast. I think it's based on anchovies, which will already put a lot of people off. But what do you have, Suzanne, on your toast that's a little bit unusual, if anything? I mean, you've got that terrible habit in America. When you have peanut butter and jelly, which is obviously jam, not really jelly. Jelly's what you have as children at parties, which is gelatin, isn't it? Fruit-flavored gelatin. But you got some funny habits, you Americans, honestly. Victoria Benson hanging out at beach bars sounds so great. It does, doesn't it? And Bearders22's here. Pingodos in Lagos has a brilliant sushi counter. Isn't that good to know? Fantastic. Nice to hear that. Nubianet, it is, and almost a daily occurrence. Weather has been spectacular. What a fantastic winter thus far, Victoria? Hanging out in the beach bars in January. Can't be bad, can it? What was the song? Whatever you don't forget the sunscreen. Yeah, not a big fan of the old sunscreen. Tend to stay out of it. This is not sunburn. I'm sure it's just a vascular activity from having it too. Anyone else do this? I mean, my baths get hotter and hotter, and I suppose your body develops a little bit of a tolerance. So you just keep making it hotter and hotter as you get older and older. So I think it's that. I think it's dilated vascular activity, which sounds quite like an accepted medical term. I completely made it up, but just to make it sound better than getting really hot and flushed for being in the bath too long. Hold on a minute. Did I see you this morning at Stephanie Perry? Says Halisi Vincent. Just checking there. You may or may not wish to answer that. What is Stephanie Perry? Is that a bar? Is that I don't know. What is that? Is that a chain of some sort? My representative was very helpful at EI. I think we all should go well next year as long as I can get decent fingerprints. Yes. I started a forum topic on that. I'm cursed with terrible fingertips. It's a bizarre thing, isn't it? But presumably, if they're unique, they're unique. That's all that matters. That I guess if they're blank, that's not very unique, is it? So good luck anyway with that, Aviva. And I'm sure you won't be the only one to have spent too much time in the photographic darkroom, or using acid at work, or whatever it is, or heat, or something like that. A hob. whatever it was that caused the terrible fingertips. And I don't mean to make fun, but there could be all sorts of reasons for that, couldn't there? But good luck, certainly. Don Murphy, what? Oh, okay, we got that. That was sunscreen. It was. What's his name? I forget now. Because someone looked it up. Where's sunscreen? An excellent voiceover, and it's Baz Luhrmann. It's credited to Baz Luhrmann, isn't it? The filmmaker. But the voiceover artist is a great American voiceover artist whose name I should know. Where's sunscreen? Somebody will let us know, won't they? 3 p.m. in Colorado. Thank you, Alicia Vincent, who's near Stephanie Perry by the sound of it. Marmite, love or hate it. I personally like Bovril. Yeah, Bovril makes a bit of hot drink, doesn't it? And if you think Marmite's disgusting, there's another thing like it called Bovril. And people from the British Isles, I would say, generally speaking, put a spoonful of it in hot water and make a sort of stocky, beefy, thin soup that they drink out of a mug. Sometimes it's football matches. Peanut butter on toast is what I grew up with. That's not unusual, though, is it, Lisa M? And have you ever tried to make your own peanut butter? I tried to do that. It's good to do, isn't it? If you can source the best peanuts and just blend them up. I think that's all you need, isn't it? As I recall, is just maybe a touch of oil in there if it's not emulsifying, and if you like it nice and smooth, of course. But anything more exotic than that, though, Lisa M, on your breakfast toast? Sadly, nothing more than raspberry preserves or orange marmalade. Very posh, Suzanne. I think they're using the word preserves and orange marmalade. They're quite British, aren't they? I think it's marmalade, a sort of British thing, I wonder. Sue's Casola, sauteed mushrooms on toast. Had it in Canada at a coffee house, but not the norm, but I like it once in a while. Who doesn't? And I'll tell you what, here's another thing, because this is all about Portugal, of course. What I'm also pleased to report to you is that we get some fantastic exotic mushrooms. Not those. We get some great shiitake mushrooms here. I bought some today. And the little pinhead ones, the Japanese ones in white and dark brown. And obviously the usual suspects, the portobellos and so on, and button mushrooms. But you get some great mushrooms and saute them in a bit of... the other day, very Portuguese again, some of those pinhead sort of mushrooms, enochi are they called? Had sauteed those for my mother because she likes them. She's liking the chicken giblets as well, because you can get a whole pack. Half a kilo, is it? Or I don't know, something like that. But one of those, sealed butcher packs of offal, and there's be a mixture of heart and liver in there from chickens, and it's €1.18. I think the pack I bought today, €1.18. Sauteed those, and I've sauteed the mushrooms in Beirão, in the liqueur. Very nice, or a bit of old Vinha Verde, whatever. A bit of sauteing in a bit of Portuguese brew. Very, very nice indeed. Good shout, Suze. Victoria Benson, yes, the weather is better than my part of California. I've done a weather check throughout the year, and Portugal has passed my test. That's good to know. Marmite, the favoured breakfast condiment of Martians everywhere. Is it a bit like the pyramids then? When the aliens came to build the pyramids, they left jars of Marmite as well, and occasionally have them appear in British supermarkets. I didn't know that, Warren. Thank you for that. And yes, you did. Spotted. Who would have thought it, that you would be spotted in Stephanie Powell's or whatever, Stephanie Perry's, and then have that reported later on the same evening on the Feelgood Portugal show. Amazing. Mike Abel is here. Hey, hello, Mike. Bon dia or balmy -20. My goodness, in Calgary, much warmer than yesterday. -20 and much warmer than yesterday. I do say I will never complain again about the cold. I do forget, but that's another warning to me. As a child, peanut butter and pickles. What? Peanut butter and pickle? What? As in dill pickles? Can see that actually, a bit of savoury with the sour there. Well, my fave makes me sick just thinking about it now, though. Yeah, how things can change, right? Nubianette and Halisi talking about Portugal, the destination, but Mexico is a plan B. Very interesting. Yes, I can make my own almond or walnut butter. That sounds really good. And Fiona and Simon here. Hey up, Fiona and Simon. We like Horlicks and good old Ready Break. Yes. Nuclear Ready Break, right? Made kids glow orange, didn't it, in the 70s? And Horlicks, that's a good call as well. A very nighttimey and a very sleepy sort of drink, very malty, isn't it? Halisi Vincent, yes. And this is sounding like a local radio show now. Are we talking about sweets next? We're from the 70s. No, I forbid that. This has been my favorite forum to get a feel of what Portugal is like and what expats, immigrants have to go through. Yeah, you make it sound like an endurance test, though, Nubian. It's pretty good here. And we're coming up to the end of the comments just for now. And I'll play you my video of the sea. And then we'll talk about 2022, nature or nurture. And what can we do? You know, how much of this new year do you think we are in control of? And how much can we actually shape and create our realities? That's what I want to talk to you about today. It's a bit of a carry on from talking to Jenny B yesterday. Lovely show with Jenny B yesterday. Fantastic. Always great to talk to Jenny once a month, first Friday of the month. And it was a particularly fun show yesterday with really deeply profound moments and silly ones, and her swearing as usual. Watched half an hour walking tour of Caldas today. Hey, should we do those? Should we be doing walking tours? Spa, daily market sounds good. Maybe too big a town for me, but maybe a village nearby. Can't wait to check it out. Yeah, definitely, Suze. If you're in Foz, you get to Caldas in 10 or 15 minutes, 5 minutes if you drive like a Portuguese. Could be a good call to check out Foz, and you've got Caldas on your doorstep. Or if you come further north, where we are, Alcobaça is your nearest big town, which is, I think, is prettier than Caldas. But you might like the urban charm of Caldas a bit more than the medieval. I was going to say pomposity. It's not pompous, but it's definitely, you know, there's an elevated atmosphere at Alcobaça compared to Caldas, I would say. Anyone agree with that? But not Carl, from a cold Belfast, not as much snow as expected. Only 1 degree tonight. My goodness. God bless you, Deagle. And all the amazing work you do, Deagle. I mean, we scratched the surface, found out what your day job is. But what an amazing person you are in your community. Take my hat off to you. Mexico is tightening requirements a little bit, says Victoria. No sign of that really, is there, here in Portugal, thankfully. There are a lot of people going to Madeira, I noticed. If we are to delve into the feel-good stories of the Portugal resident and Portugal news, of which there are very few, it has to be said, Madeira is feeling the heat of or the benefit, you might say, depends who you are, of course, of the golden visa over there. Many millions called in or deposited for golden visas in Madeira, and it looks like that trend will continue. Is Madeira being turned into like a tax haven sort of place? I wonder. Cindy Bean saying you'll love Caldas. So Cindy Bean might be able to talk about this. What do you think? The comparison with Caldas and Alcobaça, Cindy B. And Halisi, I joined last year and then forgot about them until we got serious. It's been a huge help. Utilizing Gilda for help. We'll keep you posted. That's the EI, of course, there. Just quickly then on Patum Paparium. Thank you for that. Bearders 22 was created in 1828. And every jar you open now, or a little pot of it, it smells like it was created in 1828. It's owned by Elsenham Foods. They own quite a few brands, don't they? They are a brand that own quite a few sub-brands of foodstuffs. Based near Stansted Airport, probably the third biggest airport, maybe, and it's certainly a top 10 airport in the UK, isn't it? They're better known for their jams. Elsenham, yes, of course they are, and they would call them preserves, wouldn't they? I've been to the factory during my career in the banking industry. Wow, what did you leave with? Did they give you a party bag of Patum the Patum Paparium party bag? Gentleman's relish all over the place on that particular visit. Thank you for that. There you go, Patum Paparium. And let me play a little video now from earlier today, because a yellow warning on the coast of Portugal. The things are looking a bit rough out there, but that's how they like it, isn't it? In a certain kind of way, the surfers. And this may be the season, the high point of the season. When I'm talking on this video, I'm thinking to myself, it's still 2021 and we haven't had the big waves yet. Really what I meant was the season. This is perhaps today, tomorrow could be the apex of the best waves of the current surfing season, winter at Nazaré. Check this out. Somebody said to me yesterday, thank you, Jay, for the heads up on this, that maybe today is the day when the big waves are coming in at Nazaré. I don't know if they've had the best of the surfing there yet, and today or this weekend could be it, because I'm up at Gralha, 10 kilometers south, 10 kilometers, probably 12 kilometers south of Nazaré, maybe a bit further from the main surfing beach, but 10 or 15 kilometers south. Having a bit of a walk this morning, just on the edge of San Martinho de Porto. I'm very impressed and awestruck by the waves here this morning. I am no surfer, but I'm almost inspired to go wax my board and get out here. Actually, no, it looks terrifying, and I'm probably the last person who will be seen on the crest of these waves, but they are quite magnificent today. So this weekend could be the weekend. We're going to start seeing those incredible videos and pictures from Nazaré. That's Nazaré over there in the distance. I'm not sure if you can see it through the sea haze this morning, but it's a remarkable morning, and these waves are looking very impressive, and I'm just totally taken by this place, Grallia. Every time I come here, I see how relentless the Atlantic is, bashing against these rocks hour after hour, day after day, week after week. For an eternity it feels like up here. It's so breathtaking and awesome. So there you go. Watch out in the news then for Nazaré this weekend. Could be the weekend of the big waves and the championship, or the pinnacle of surfing experience here in Portugal. Part of what's making Portugal world famous, right? The Nazaré waves there. Have a great day. Bon fin de semana. Ciao, ciao. Honestly, don't know how to stop this now. The sun is shining so brightly on the screen, even on this just the second week of January. It's beautiful here. I think we are experiencing a little bit of that heat wave with the warm winds coming up from Africa. I don't know, but it's certainly a very mild winter so far. A little bit wet. Oh, I found the stop button now. Have a great weekend. Ciao, ciao. Bon fin de semana. It's embarrassing that, isn't it? Can't find the stop button. It wasn't a long lingering look at the sea. It was, I just couldn't see it. It was partly user error, and partly just, I think, poor user interface on there, and partly the bright sunshine just blazing onto the screen, and couldn't see the little X there. Great question, Deagle. How big are the waves? Now, I don't know how high I am above I'm some way back, and it's difficult, isn't it, to get this perspective sometimes, because I'm going on about how great the waves are, and people might look at that and think they don't look that big to me, but these are lethal beaches. This one, Grallia, and Salgado, a bit further along, have claimed people who've just got caught, just been paddling and been pulled into some very dangerous waters, and I'm the wrong person to ask about how big they are. But they look, in the video I could see myself, they look tiny compared to their real scale. Once you walk down there's a steep slope that goes down to that beach. I don't know. I mean, I want to say I'm like 100 meters above the water there, but I don't know if I'm not sure if that's right. I don't have a very good spatial awareness of that kind, but I'm some way up. To walk down that hill takes a few minutes to get down to the bottom. And Jay, who I mentioned at the beginning, Jay might have an idea if he's tuned in, or somebody else who knows Grallia might be able to tell me. Or yeah, you could look it up, couldn't you, on Google, and see the difference in the altitude, the meters above sea level, between the viewing post and the sea itself. But they are terrifying, is what I can. They're noisy and loud, even tens of meters up the cliff. I'm standing on a cliff there, looking down on that, and it does look a bit feeble and small from that perspective, and then it's all crushed in, isn't it, into the YouTube screen, into the camera screen. So I hope the scale of it is conveyed in some way, but they are huge. And the thing that I mentioned there is that they are so breathtakingly persistent. I go walk the dogs up there, I come home, I go back again, and I'm just taken by the relentlessness of the sea there. And the other thing that I want to weave into the conversation that's about this 2022, nature or nurture. Can we after a couple of years now of, I don't know about you, but certainly feeling that in the worldly world, not in nature or in our personal worlds, but in the worldly world of society, we've been quite, for whatever reason, constricted, limited, restricted, and that brings a certain amount of, it brings all sorts of symptoms and responses, doesn't it? So how do we deal with that? How do we find freedom and expansion and independence and interdependence in that context? Or do we need to go deeper within? Is that what this is all about? Is that what this is all about? Are we being forced to look within and think about how we might sense and feel freedom in a different way, because you just can't go running around the place willy-nilly, mask on, mask off, this many meters, you can go in here, you can't go in there. There are restrictions, and there are reasons and arguments and whatever to be had about that, but let's just take it at face value that we live in restricted times. No, I don't think anyone would argue with that. They might argue about the reasons for it, but they would, I think, recognize the fact that we live in restricted times. And then humans also love to be free, don't we? Or do we? I mean, I do. I'll own that. I like, and that's what I moved to Portugal for, is for the sense of freedom and independence and the possibility of interdependence and living in small community way. But what I love about, what I love about Portugal is how you can pretty much just go about your business doing whatever you do. They do whatever they do. And as long as you're not a nuisance to anyone, you're fine doing that. And that's changed. I mean, it clearly, in my experience in these last 4 years, going into the fifth, that's changed. There is a different atmosphere, and we can only speculate as to whether that will ever return to what it was before, or certain parts of everyday life will remain restricted or won't recover from the sense of restriction and how people look at each other and view each other. So the thing I wanted to add in a very long-winded way about the sea there is the wonderful thing about the sea is that place and the sense I get from it, and the feelings and how stirred I am and inspired by being there, is that place looked like that 3 years ago, pre-pandemic. It looked like that today, within and hopefully beyond the pandemic. And 100 years ago, it probably looked like that as well. And that's part of possibly what we might remember or practice. It's so easy, isn't it, to feel so in this world of all the restrictions and wanting them. This is an unfolding story, isn't it? And we're story loving beings, us humans. We love storytelling. Storytelling is so enduring, and it's regardless of medium, isn't it? Whether it's the news, whether it's the stories we learned or heard as children, whether it's feature films, whatever it is, information comes to us in some kind of sense we can make of it being a story. And I remember asking a storyteller once who I hung out with and spent some time with. It was an event that a place where I used to work, and I had the pleasure of hanging out with this Gary, I think his name. I can't remember his second name, but we were around a campfire telling stories, Halloween, I think, and he came back on different occasions. And I interviewed him once on a little radio station we had at this place. And what is it? What's the enduring value and interest for human beings in storytelling? And he said, it's because we want to know what's going to happen next. And that's the art of storytelling, isn't it? It's to keep people on the edge of their seat, or to draw them to the edge of their seat, because they just need to know what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next. And we're like that, aren't we, in our lives? And certainly we do want to know what's going to happen next when it comes to the whole sort of pandemic situation we find in pretty much all around the world. Where was I going with all of that? I don't know. I'm going to go to your comments now, but I will. Oh no, yeah. So whilst there's all of that going on of wanting to know what's happening next, and we're drawn, aren't we, into the man-made world a lot at the moment, because this is happening in the man-made world, and that's where our attention is. And I make a distinction between the man-made world and the earth. The man-made world is built on the earth, isn't it? And what we love as the environment and as nature, and that's where the sea view that I just shared with you belongs. It's not timeless, because that cliff face and the patterns of the sea, that will change over the longest period of time, and it has done. But it's been there a lot longer than any of us. And as I said, it looked like that in 1922. It probably looked like that in 1622. And it look like that before the pandemic, and it'll look like that during and after the pandemic. We can go there for a different sense of our being, can't we? That is more timeless and eternal and magnificent and awesome, compared to watching the news, for example, or looking at the social media. And the funny thing about that is, we're talking a lot, aren't we, at the moment? A lot of us sort of, and have done the hippies of the world, to live in the moment. So you could be forgiven for thinking, okay, I'm living in the moment by keeping my eye on what's going on the news. This is the moment. But is it? It's not really, is it? It's editorialized, it's chosen, it's propagandized, there's agendas and all that sort of stuff. And arguably, you're more in the moment watching the sea, because the moment is the moment of eternity, isn't it? The moment of depth, rather than intense focus and anxiety of being in the moment and being stressed by the news or whatever. Seeing a forest, seeing the sea, seeing something beautiful, seeing timeless things, but being able to enjoy them in that moment of viewing. That's what truly being in the moment is, isn't it? And I think this is all part of our armory, possibly, for creating our reality or having our reality the way we want it to be. So tell me more about that. What do you think about that? How much do we create our reality, or are we just victims of circumstance and the man-made world we were born into, and forever it will be? Or are we in a place now where we're thinking, hold on a minute, this isn't actually that pleasant. Otherwise, a lot of us wouldn't be moving around the world, let's be honest. We're thinking, this isn't great. It could be better. We could do better here. We've talked about Charles Eisenstein, haven't we? And the beautiful heart, a beautiful world we know in our hearts is possible. So this is yearning and sense that it could be better. There are other possibilities available. So really, if we think about that tonight, this afternoon, wherever you are, tomorrow, if you're already in tomorrow, Suze, how much do you think you can control how beautiful you could make your life? I'll just leave that hanging there for a moment whilst we say hello to a few more people who may have joined us, including Dougie Hughes. He creates his own reality, this fella. Boa noite, Senor Gallico, there. Thank you very much. And I think I've missed a few here, so let me just scroll back. Your samples of gentleman's relish are being spoken about here. As well. I don't want to miss anything. I'm planning to live in Funchal, so there you go, Viva. Very happy with Madeira there, by the sound of it, or certainly wants to start that way. Not sure where you live in California, but I live here in Marin. I love this cool, rainy and occasional sunny weather. So many similarities, and it's being said, isn't it, that in the Bay, the San Francisco Bay News, is that right? Has anyone got that article, and could they send it to me? Portugal, the new California. What's that all about? Who wrote that? We want to know more. But the similarities between California and Portugal are very clear, I think. Would anyone care to say any more about that? Oh, and the lovely park with pond and historic building, they said, would be renovated to a 5-star hotel. Well, I hope so, because that building is amazing. I have photographed that building, the old hospital overlooking the Dom Carlos Park. I'm always happy to be walking in King Carlos Park in Caldas. But yeah, that's a good shout. If you live near there, you'd be all right, wouldn't you? Buy now, and that will appreciate magnificently near the 5-star hotel when it's done up there. That's great. I'm sure I'll use a service to help me with my move. Hopefully, there'll be less Californians taking up the migration appointments in San Francisco. So it's really sorry to see this. That OMG, nothing available in 2022. So all the appointments, at the San Francisco consulate, are booked, and you have to go elsewhere in America. That's a concern, isn't it? And a challenge for people. Thank you for the Patum Paperium comments, and more to come on those. But Suze, before we go there, Suze asks, what do the Portuguese put on toast, or do they eat toast? They certainly do, but it's not just toast. As I've said before, and I'll say it again, any brekkie surprises in store for us when we get there. Oh, yeah, definitely. But toast is torrada here, and it's doorsteps. And I'm so glad to be able to tell you that with some friends yesterday, went to the local cafe that I went to 4 years ago here in San Martino de Porto. And it was very old-fashioned in those days. It had the little machine, the tombola type machine. And I remember you put your euro in and you get a little plastic ball, and it's got a piece of paper in with a number. And then you get the number out and you look up on the board and you see if you've won the massive penknife dagger thing or the power tool or whatever that's there, or have you just won a little bar of chocolate? And I think most people win the little bar of chocolate, and we did. I thought it was like that. Still, I went in there yesterday and to have a coffee, and it was great. And they do pão de forma, which is, I suppose, formed bread. And that is what the toast is made of, Suze. So what would look like a square loaf? Is that a batch loaf? I don't know. But it does look a bit mass-produced, and it might have been made in a tin. Excuse me. But it's what you can chop into doorsteps. And when I say doorstep, sometimes you'll order torrada here, not to be confused with dourada, the golden bream, because you might not be wanting that for breakfast, or if you know, it'd be a bit of a surprise if a big grilled fish arrives and all you want is a bit of buttered toast. But you will get probably 2 slices, sometimes 3, of really, I mean, we're talking about possibly 2 finger thickness of toast, and it is slathered. Is that a word is safe to use here? Slathered with butter, salted butter preferably, both sides, and then chopped into 3. And I've made this comparison before. It's like Jenga for breakfast, especially when you get the 3 pieces, and the middle finger is the one, because it's got no crust on it. Well, top and bottom, but it's a beautiful, it's like a soldier, a toast soldier, absolutely covered in butter. And quite a few people might have that for breakfast here with their cup of coffee, nice with a mer de lait or a galant, creamy coffee. And you can even dip your toast in your coffee if you wanted to, or a hot chocolate. You could do that. Some people will have a buttered roll, just butter on dry, not yeah, on a bread roll. What else do people have here? Yeah, a pastry, a pastel de nata and caffè nata in the morning. Others may wish to comment on that. Watched earlier. Thank you for that, Mike. Watched earlier on YouTube. Looks so incredible. It is, and the scale of it is not done justice on a little camera, but you got a sense of it there, I'm sure. Okay. So sorry, Dig, I can't be more specific about that, but I'll take someone there who knows about these things and give me a better estimate. So Bearders did leave with free samples, either 3 or 3 samples of Peyton preparing, but none of the staff back at the office wanted any of them. Probably when you took the lid off. A bit like taking egg sandwiches into the office, right? It was different when I used to go to the Walnut Whip factory. Oh, you're going to have to tell everybody, I think, what a Walnut Whip is. The factory in North Norfolk also made Easter eggs. It's probably good that Mrs. M isn't here with mentions of Walnut Whips with her potty mind. Also made Easter eggs there at the Walnut Whip factory. Yes, the cream in there is not unlike the cream that would go in a Cadbury's cream egg, right? But was the Walnut Whip made by Cadbury's? I wonder. Walnut Whip, definitely for the erotic novel Ace Suze. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his Walnut Whip. I watched it earlier. Very woody, the old Walnut Whip. I watched it earlier on my phone. Duh, so much better on the big screen. Oh, okay, so you got to see it bigger now. I saw this when you posted it earlier. Beautiful sky and sea colors. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed that. These shots of less of me talking and more of the nature, I think, are popular. So we'll do more of those. Hopefully that's just Rona, and there'll be more appointments when there's less risk and employees out sick. Yeah, I guess that's a factor, isn't it? I check every day for openings. Hopefully it'll be better after February. And yet, you know, EI will help you with this, as they have for so many people. And 98% success rate helping people as well, I hasten to add. Up where William lives in Coleraine, the north coast of Northern Ireland, we would get 18-foot waves. Off the Republic of Ireland coast, County Clare, you get 40-foot waves, small compared to Portugal waves. Yeah, seriously, I can't tell you how big those are that you saw in the video. Big is all I'm going to say. Even in all, I like banana and strawberry jam together on toasted sandwich. My kids call me weird. No, Abel, they should stop that immediately. That sounds fantastic. Banana and peanut butter and honey as well. But yeah, don't let them. The kids do that. What do they have on their toast? I'm sure they have much weirder things, right? My 10-year-old lad, he loves experimenting with weird. What did he make today? You know the effervescent vitamin tab lozenges. He did one of those in hot water. He said, I've got to make you a special tea I want you to try. It had a vanilla tea bag in it, and it was hot effervescent vitamins. And I took one sip, and I said, that's interesting. Waves today at the bay opening appeared to be better than 30-footers, just breathtaking, as Cole said. So that's the mouth of the bay at San Martino de Porto is very dramatic, as well, as Cindy's telling you there. 30-footers. So there you go. Thank you for that, Cindy B. Can you imagine in the tunnel, in the smuggler's tunnel, that they must have been battering the other end of the tunnel there. Sue's taking copious notes at this point. I love the sea breeze when standing on top looking onto the ocean. It makes me calm and able to reflect. Same goes with mountain beauty. This is what I'm talking about, Lisa, isn't it? The sense of eternity. Well, all is going crazy in the world. We must expose ourselves to that on a regular basis, mustn't we? Good evening, Deagle. Off to Portugal on the 14th, sailing from Rosslare for a wee drive and Gander. I think, is that, or is it Dander? Are you taking pet hair with you to look at some property, hopefully get everything all sorted before the summer It's just a big ruse to bring me 2 jars of Mama, I think. I hope so. Also, love how the woods go to the ocean in Marin. You get both. Yeah, I think I went to Marin. Love California. I think it's a matter of not giving in to fear, says Aviva. You don't need to restrict joy and a sense of adventure. Yeah, absolutely right. Thank you for that. Let that be known in the record of tonight's show. If we were doing a transcription, that needs to be in bold. Don't give in to fear. I mean, fear is a useful thing, isn't it? Because it helps us survive. And if I'd been more fearful, I might not have these 3 dents on my forehead. But on the other hand, you don't need to restrict joy and a sense of adventure, which is what got me these 3. But I proudly bear them in front of you this evening because I went with not restricting my joy and my sense of adventure. And I didn't give in to fear. And I swung down that zip wire for all I was worth. Bang at the end. Don't forget that humanity went through restrictions 100 years ago with Spanish flu. Spanish flu followed by the 1418 war. Yeah, absolutely. These are, I suppose, predictable cycles, aren't they, in the world of men? I always have loved cave art too, all around the world. Have we got cave art here in Portugal? I suspect we have. Well said, Carl. Interestingly, the waves don't hear us or care. They just, yes. It's like the moon and the sun, right? Giving of themselves, whether we are there or not, and whether we care or not. Yes, they just keep doing what they do. I suppose that is why we are humans and not waves. Peculiar bunch, aren't we? With our self-consciousness, such that we can be having we've created all this technology such that we can look at ourselves and go, what? My point is, if humanity came through war and Spanish flu and delivered the Roaring Twenties, yes, there we go, the Roaring Twenties. So it's not too late, is it, to have our own Roaring 2020s here? Okay, there has to be hope. So is that what you're thinking, Dougie? That after this, people will be so thoroughly restricted and fed up that they're going to party like it's 1999 or 1920 in this case. That's a good thought. That's a good thought, isn't it? And you know, again, that's on the veneer of human behavior, isn't it? That's nothing to do with nature again, but an interesting cycle and hopefully one that if you're lucky enough as a human to experience the down as well as the up, you know, so which is the great sadness and loss, isn't it, of people who we've lost in this time, is that they won't see the roar on the other side of this, but we'll party on their behalf. I always have said that Mama Gaia puts on the best shows if we just take time to see. That's right. Even the little ones, by your feet on the sidewalk. All the yellow flowers, Cindy. I bet you've noticed those at the moment. I don't know what they are, but there are meadows, really, aren't there, sort of unofficially, of beautiful yellow flowers at the moment here in Portugal. Here in the winter, you know, January, and it looks like a spring-like scene to me. And there they are, all these little yellow. They're kind of like yellow bells. I don't know what the species is, but I'm sure you've noticed them all on waste ground, car parks everywhere. And that's a little show in its own right, isn't it? Each one of those is a show, and all that abundance and beauty that nature shares with us. If we, as you say, in bold on the record, if we just take time to see, if we're not going crazy doing other stuff like us humans do. Douglas, says Suzanne, the restrictions around the Spanish flu were never so draconian and pervasive. I suspect that's true, Suzanne. This is global control made possible by current technology. Yes, the same technology we love biting us on the bottom, perhaps. Love Marin, but so expensive, and people are connected, it seems, with only themselves. Oh, dear. I'm looking for something weather-wise similar in Portugal. Any suggestions? Well, Silver Coast, you can't go wrong, Lisa M. Starting off on a Silver Coast here. Jeff's here as well. Bon night, Carl. Gumpers. Come on, Jeff. When are you arriving? If you head down to Armação de Pera, you'll find yourself in Palm Beach. So there you go. Dougie knows Portugal very well. That's a great recommendation. Thank you for that, Doug. He's in Welsh Wales. How's it going over there, Doug? Such a schizophrenic disconnect. We make our own lives as beautiful or as meaningful as we can, but the ongoing and intensifying restrictions make it seem like we're living in a bubble. Suzanne, I hear you. I think it was James Holly saying his part of Portugal is like Santa Cruz, California. So that'll be Ericeira. Hence, Portugal is the California of PT. Damn right. Suzanne, slathered with butter is the only way to... Yeah, exactly. Saturated fat. Keep that margarine away from me. If you must do that, keep that in your own fridge under lock and key. Work of the devil. I think things can be better, and my focus is on the positive present and positive future. I'm worried about the violence and despair I see where I live, but it doesn't overwhelm me. So well said, Nubianet. Yeah, and it's getting that balance right, isn't it, between the man-made, the human-made, and being as much of our true nature and the reflection in nature that we can see. So important, I think, at the moment. Portugal is calling, beauty, kind people, and great for my organic lifestyle. So true, Lisa. And yeah, so when we're talking about creating reality, then let's break cover, break ranks, whatever the expression might be, come out a little bit. Who do you like? Do you like Esther Hicks? I've been listening more and more to the work of what was he called? The Joe Dispenza. I was thinking of Greg Braden. Greg Braden's great as well. That hair. But Joe Dispenza, Jim Rohn keeps coming up. Good old good one. I love the way Jim Rohn speaks. That's not the way to do it. No, that's not the way to do it. I said, Mr. Rohn. And who else do you like? Esther Hicks. And so the law of attraction, Abraham. I listen to a lot of Abraham at the moment, and Esther. She's incredible. Yeah, and Joe Dispenza in the bath listening tonight. I was in the bath with Joe Dispenza, whether he liked it or not. Incredible stuff for leaning towards this co-creation, this purposeful creation of the possibilities we yearn for in life. Tell me your favorites, if you will. And Thunder's here. Hello, mate. Boa noite, alegria. It doesn't work quite so well, does it, as Bom dia alegria, boa noite alegria. I'm rarely up this late, but shutting down the PC and saw Carl live and had to check in. Avocado on toast. You're such a hipster, sir, with a splash of olive oil, a grind of black pepper maybe, and some a finger ground sea salt on top of there. Maybe a little squirt of lemon there as well, organic lemon. Stop it. I'm enjoying the sound of that. Walnut Whip isn't a trade name. It's a style of confectionery. The business I saw made them for Marks and Spencer's. Okay, so let's describe that. The Walnut Whip, in case you don't know, and if it is a uniquely British thing, is like a... Bearded, shall I leave that to you? But it's like a volcano. Let's go with volcano of a swirl. It's like a piped volcanic swirl of chocolate filled with white fondant creamy stuff, which I don't think is very nice. And then to give it its Walnut Whip name, walnut plopped on the top there, which seals it off until it blows its stack, and you tongue out the white cream from the inside of the chocolate volcano. Suze Cazzola. It's not my nature to nurture. Always appreciate those at ease with it. Pretty good with Taxi, and he has turned into a demanding little love bug. I realize that's not what you meant. No, not exactly, but it's a good comment. And it's interesting how we see ourselves, isn't it? I mean, you strike me as a very caring person, Suze. So I'm challenging your own self-perception there. Peanut butter on a tortilla chip with a slice of raw jalapeno. Jean likes it hot in the mornings. Thank you for that entry there, Jean. A Walnut Whip is a well-shaped cone of milk chocolate with a whipped vanilla fondant filling topped with a half walnut. There you go. You said it better than I did. So you get the idea. And it's like a Cadbury's cream egg. You can get your tongue inside it if you choose to eat it like that. Some people just like to pop the whole thing in. Our flights put back. Oh no, what's happening here? Our flights put back from the 5th to the 12th of February, hoping to get out for winter sunshine. Think it will be more like May. No, let's get that into the vortex, as Esther would say. And we've launched that rocket of desire such that you can be here sooner rather than later there, Deagle. So is that Ryanair with cancellations and delays that's caused that? Let me know. Nubianet, Lisa, I haven't been to Portugal yet. Waiting to go. I get a feel for my comfort. I'm sure the feeling of the social environment will be my priority when choosing a place to live. And I think Foz is a good tip for that. A homely village atmosphere. You might like it a bit bigger than that. And yes, some people call waves white horses. I could see exactly what that meant when I was there, maybe about a week ago. And it was like the foam was galloping across itself. It was really beautiful. And I just knew I think I sent it just before my mum arrived. I sent her saying, look at the white horses. So you're absolutely right there. Who's this? Can anyone say that? Because I can't. And it's a bot, isn't it? With these funny messages that keep coming up. You will love Portugal. Been there several times. Lisa saying to Nubianet. Sorry to be so worried about it. It's not a problem, Suzanne. Speak up. Say what's on your mind. And if we can help you, we will. So maybe better out than in. Absolutely no problem there. But not quite as balmy in Welsh Wales as Almason de Perez Palm Beach, methinks. No, I'm sure that's true. And you sent me the most curious picture of a semi-naked man posing on the top of a mountain, Dougie. Explain yourself. Butter is a cure for almost anything. Yeah, anyone tried it on cat's paws to stop them wandering too far from home? That's something my dad used to say. Yeah, butter. Really special stuff, isn't it? With salt. Always with the salt, and never margarine or one of those strange Frankenstein spreads. America was originally founded to be the most libertarian nation in the world, says Fiona. So it's interesting, isn't it? What's happened, or what's happening, I should say. But that said, as well, there are going to be people, aren't there, in the middle of America, going about their business in the middle of nowhere, having a great time, like they did and always did throughout any historical moment. Through the potted historical moments of humanity. People have been going about their lives and enjoying their lives, haven't they? If they knew how to do it. Aviva says Krishna Das gives a great satsang every Thursday night online in the US. His chanting is wonderful. So there you go. Krishna Das, one to look out for if you like your relaxation and inner peace that way with a bit of satsang. Just booked a few places to stay in March. One was San Martino de Porto. See you when you get here, Lisa. Slathered is my go-to gastronomic term. Drizzled as well, I wonder, Warren. Drizzled, slathered, moistened, possibly. Just lightly moistened. I just had a sausage. Talking of slightly moistened, have you just pulled me cable out of... I went to a lot of trouble, didn't I, to make sure the cable was safe, and she's come in the room and she's tripped over it tonight. I think we're still online. Just had a sausage sarnie and a nice cup of black tea. Is that a euphemism, William Ogilby? Here she is, everybody. Hot water bottle in hand. You're going to pull your chair up next to me and put your headphones on. Things just got a whole lot better, didn't they? Mrs. M's here, everybody. Slathered all the way. You'll catch up. We're talking about moistening, slathering. We're talking about walnut whips. Would that make you laugh as much as the old hairless dog? Do you remember that from a couple of weeks ago, everybody? Talk of hairless cats. Slathered all the way as well. So I'm a bit behind, aren't I, with me? Like the man who sat on the bacon slicer at work, got behind with his work. What? Sitting on a bacon slicer? I need to sit up a bit, don't I? I've got too relaxed here tonight. Check out your WhatsApp for a pic of Almason de Pera. Okay, I need to spark up the WhatsApp. Mrs. M just putting on her headphones. See what I did there? Just encouraging her to put on her headphones. And she will say good evening to you now while I spark up WhatsApp.
Good evening.
Where you been? Where you been?
I've been putting the kids to bed.
Ah, yes, I did say that earlier on. Actually, how they've become a bit naughty and they've changed. Look at my massive injured head compared to yours. What should we do about that? Should I come back a bit like that? That's better, isn't it? Similar sort of scale, but your head is probably half the size of mine in real life, isn't it?
Yeah, you do have a big Munson bonnet, don't you?
A big Munson bonce, okay, which is injured slightly as well. So we've got some photos coming in. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your message, Hank and
That's
Connie.
nice.
That is nice, isn't it? So I think he was talking that this is the Palm Beach. So I'll share these with you. This is important public service tonight. Thank you for these, Dougie. He is encyclopedic in his understanding of Portugal.
Have these been shared?
Have they been shared? What do
No,
you mean?
is your WhatsApp screen being shared?
No. I'm downloading these. I daren't with some of the filth people send me on WhatsApp. There's no way I'm going to be sharing. People like Doug, yeah, some really inappropriate memes get sent to me. I don't know why. Me of all people. So thank you for that. We'll put those up in just a moment. Cheers for that, Dougie. And yeah, so the kids have got a bit into a festive sort of pattern, haven't they? Staying up late.
Yeah.
Okay. So you spanked them soundly. And
no, I didn't. I just set my alarm for 40 minutes and had a sleep.
Oh, you've been asleep yourself. Classic.
Yeah, because I thought, the important thing is that they've got someone looking after them to make sure that they don't come through to you. So I set my alarm for 40 minutes. And I thought by the time I wake up, the little one's going to be so knackered that he'll have some milk and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. I appear to have stumbled into a carry-on convention. Yes, just business as usual here, Bearders. The French don't have a word for double entendre. Well, hey, Or is that another version of that? Isn't it? A French
I don't
barmaid.
know.
A French barmaid asked me for a double entendre, so I gave her one. Oh, did that too far?
No, it's
You're
fine.
not warmed up, are you?
No, I was just like,
He's-
I was just going back to my time in France and thinking, did they really have only like no words for double entendre?
You have been asleep for 40
Yeah.
minutes. Okay. Easy chair puts all flights back 1 week in February. We were also out 22nd of May till 4th of June. Not sure if Omicron, same Feb flight, just a week later. Oh, okay. So delays there. And yes, always butter with salt. We've been talking about butter as well. Because we've been asking about what people put on their toast.
Oh, is that what they're talking about? Slathering.
That's where the word slathering came
Okay.
into, just in case. Just
Yeah,
cleared that up,
butter,
everybody.
butter with salt.
And never margarine, the filthy stuff.
Oh,
Carl, I've done at least 15 minutes each day from the 1st of January my Portuguese learning. I'm not sunburnt. I'm embarrassed. I haven't done anything apart from go to the supermarket and talk to people in Portuguese. I mean, I do that every day. So I can claim a little bit, I think, of learning. And it gets a little bit deeper. And the comprehension, that's the thing. Portuguese people speak so darn fast. But I am catching more of it. Do you find that?
You know, the hardest thing is these. Sorry to say it, is the masks. I didn't realize that I used like
Portuguese lip reading.
Yeah, I was obviously lip reading as well as listening, and and then I don't know. I almost feel like I can't think properly when I've got a mask on.
Okay.
So there's a whole bunch of things going on.
I think you're just wedging in your feelings about mask wearing. What has that got to do with learning Portuguese?
Because I can't see anyone's mouth.
Oh, and you can't lip read. Okay.
I can't lip read, and
Yes.
obviously I need to do that a little bit, and I can't hear them as well because their voices get muffled a little bit.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And I can't see their expressions because obviously that also plays into it.
Okay, now look what you've started, Deagle. Armação de Pera from Dougie. Thank you very much. A classic Portuguese house. There are homes that look like that in Foz as well, I recall. Yeah. Probably all up and down the coast. That does look like a sort of grand coastal dwelling to me. So the first of the pickies from Armação de Pera. Armação, I don't know what that means, but Pera is pear, of course.
That way.
What, are you showing me how to use StreamYard?
It looks
that makes no difference whatsoever.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. Well, I'm clicking different buttons here, as you can probably hear, everybody, and it's making no difference whatsoever.
Oh, because you're not sharing your screen.
I'm doing overlays. This is what we do. You never watch my morning show, do you?
No, I have. And when you do your overlays like that,
yeah,
I always find it very distracting.
Okay. And there's one that obliterates both of us, but that's a beautiful sunset.
Yeah, that looks better, actually.
That's fantastic. Dougie, thank you so much for that. How do you recall these fabulous Portuguese pictures? Should we see a bit close? It looks like there's a slight frost between us there at the moment. Come on, squeeze in a little bit. Slather yourself all over me. Okay. Right. Oh, no, don't mess about with that.
Why not?
Because we're about to find out why not.
Why? What's going to happen?
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad, is it? Okay, Jodie's here, everybody. Look, we can try to live our lives in the US, but we have a high likelihood of being shot going about our business. That's so sad to hear, isn't it? And then going broke from the healthcare costs to recover. I'm just sorry to hear things like that. I really am. Because I'm talking tonight about how much control you've got over your destiny. 2022, nature or nurture. Are we just down to human nature, or can we nurture our way into the beautiful world we know in our hearts is possible? How much co-creative or self-generating possibility power do each of us have to create the world we want?
It's a tough one because we're already living in the lag between you like setting your intention and it arriving. So you're actually living in
the past.
Yes. Like your now is the result of all of your past thinking.
You're making this sound very personal. Do you mean one or you?
Everyone.
Everyone. Okay, not just me. Okay, thank you. I just want to clear that up. Okay. All right.
We're all living in the results of our past thinking.
Yes, that's right. So and everyone else's.
Yeah, and everyone else's. Yeah. And that lag serves us sometimes because,
Yes, like in that scene from The Secret, that if you wished for a car right now and you could get it, you would be squashed by an incoming Ferrari or something like that there has to be a natural
Yeah.
lag. Or if you think about an elephant and one suddenly appeared in the room, that can be very
Mm.
inconvenient, especially some nice manure for the roses. But yeah, so get your drift, and that's worth remembering, isn't it? We're living in the past, effectively.
Yeah.
Because even us looking at us now, each other and the screen and everything, there's even a lag, isn't there, between the time it takes for your eyes to see something and for that information to be processed. So you're literally seeing the past. And I think that just gets worse and worse, doesn't it? So the society we live in is the creation of everything that's gone before. So that follows then that the society of the future could be what we're thinking now. So if we are worried about being shot and going broke, that would probably govern how it's going to turn out.
I think our biggest responsibility right now is to stay alive as joyfully as possible.
Yes.
So that we
Doing our bit here.
so we get to live in the future that we're creating now.
Yep. I'm just trying to make rude words in the background there. Portu. It's not really working, is it? Ood.
No.
Ood poo. That's not really working. Okay. So Jodie, I am sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But it's about what rockets of desire we can launch.
Jodie, what part of the States are you living in?
And it's a real and present danger, that isn't it?
Yeah,
It is a possibility, isn't it?
Sorry, cuddling my hot water bottle.
So nice, isn't it?
I speak to people over in the States all the time, and I haven't heard that from any of my clients. So I'm really wondering where you are. That sounds pretty.
Okay. I'm just trying to adjust the green screen there, so the scars on my forehead aren't so obvious. Where are you, Jodie, if you don't mind saying? And I'm not diminishing what you're saying, because it's real for you, isn't it?
Definitely.
And it is a possibility.
I mean, it must be really scary if you're worried about going out in case you get shot or you can't go to the mall or something.
Right? Yeah.
Could you imagine if we couldn't go to one of the local Portuguese malls?
Well, I can't.
At this time of year, it's actually a bit of a godsend, because as the heating bills go on, it's a bit cooler in these houses.
Yes.
These places are really like dry and warm. And bright, and it's a nice little thing to do every now and again.
Yeah, and the thought of being shot, I mean, it has never entered my head.
No, of course not. Can't imagine that.
The only anxiety we've had, wasn't it? Was the food court the other day. Where it just the whole sort of showing your papers thing and all of that sort of stuff, which is cast a bit of a shadow. But really, that's such a small thing compared to what you're talking about, Jodie. And if I compare and contrast with where I'm from, I'm not expecting road rage. I'm expecting people to drive very close to me behind and park in strange places, etc. But not anger. I'm really not I'm not anticipating a low level of aggression. And that's what I think that is part of the life
really,
I've
from where
left.
You are?
I don't anticipate that at all here in Portugal. But
from where you're
growing
from.
up in London, I used to. You have to be. The reason anyone has to be streetwise is an acknowledgement, isn't it, that things aren't safe, and you have to keep your wits about you in a way that you really don't. Well, you shouldn't be silly. People do get mugged and bad things happen. Certainly in Portugal, it's not a complete Pollyanna situation, but it's all relative, isn't it? And that never occurs to me that I think only good things are going to happen when we pop to the shopping mall or go to the shops or go to the beach like we did today. It's not this undercurrent, is there, of something that can escalate? Responding to you there, Jodie, politics is a concern. I swore I wouldn't watch US news till headline said he's in jail, but watch January 6th US news. I feel for my American friends and all other sane Americans. Who's in jail? Who was that who got jailed? And isn't that Novak Djokovic who's been put in jail? Different country. I don't think you get a walnut whip anymore because of a nut allergy, maybe. Do you like a walnut whip? Going from the sublime to the ridiculous.
I have enjoyed them in the past, for sure. Okay.
Do you put your tongue right in and lick all the white stuff out?
Do you know what? I don't talk about what I do in the privacy of my own home.
Fair enough. What would be a suggestion for a spa town? Korea.
I'd like to say Korea,
but
however, our friends tried to get a spa there, and it is a spa town. They found it very difficult to try out the waters, didn't they?
Yeah, Korea is a little place. It's got its own railway station. It's got the Palace Hotel, and it's charming.
It's charming. It's worth going.
You've got to. We lived there for a little while by some quirk of fate, and it's fantastic, Lisa. But the bigger one, the biggest spa town, is what's the one?
Busako.
Busako. where the water is amazing.
And Luso.
And Luso, where the water is also amazing. So actually, Busako, you wouldn't want to live there necessarily, but go to Luso because it's a proper town. It is a proper spa town. Luso. Dougie, have you got any pictures? Hi, Louisa. Adding a little charm to the evening. It always gets better when she's here. And Kent is here as well. But not Louisa. Look at this.
Oh, thank you,
And
everyone.
Sue's Louisa. We're going to Almacén de Pera in May, June, says Diego. Okay, so there's a couple of pickies there to whet your appetite. I thought that said crappable jelly on toast. I was thinking, what is crappable jelly? Crab apple jelly on toast. That's very refined as well, isn't it? Crab apples turned into a preserve. The things you put on toast, because Marmite triggered that off.
Oh.
William is bringing you 2 jars of Marmite.
Oh, thank you.
How about that? Classy Vlogs took a trip to an old-fashioned hotel that had a spa from their mineral waters. That would probably be Luso if I know those two. I don't remember their names, but I think there must be several also in Madeira. So Nubiana, Luso, Busako, and Korea. And Caldash. Caldash has got its own eggy smell.
Yeah, it does.
It's got sulphurous waters there.
It really does. Yeah.
We go there and look at each other and the kids and think, oh no, it's a sulphurous spa town. It wasn't any of the kids. You see more expressions by looking at one's eyes. So read a person's eyes; they speak more than a mouth. There you go.
Thank you. I shall remember that next time I'm trying to order something.
Yeah,
at
you get
shop.
Triggered, don't you?
I
trigger
get
alert!
triggered.
No, I forgot that here.
I get triggered by being told what to do.
You do, don't you?
I'm also mask exempt as I'm learning Portuguese. I'm going to try that one when I get there.
Brilliant. Oh, William, fantastic.
I love that.
We enjoy avocado toast. Oh, yes. Second mention of avocado toast.
How did this subject come up in the first place?
Marmite.
Literally. So someone mentioned Marmite, and
now
the show.
William said, "I'm bringing you 2 pots."
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
But like now, the show has turned into what we would
put on toast.
And
I said, I'm forbidding people. It's beginning to sound like a local radio station. Do you remember the sweets you used to enjoy in the 1970s, Spangles and those sorts of things? I'm going to play you Ed Sheeran now, and afterwards we'll talk about opal fruits. We'll be right back. No kids' sweets, guys.
He does this all day.
And walnut whips. We've gone there already, I noticed.
Yeah.
I've been to Palm Beach and Pera. I can't say that they were suitable for across the pond twinning, says Peter's 22. It's a bit like Aveiro and Venice, isn't it?
Yes, they're like...
There is no sign in Venice saying the Aveiro of Italy.
No.
But it is still lovely.
They'd probably be horrified.
Well, of course they would. Of course the Italians
lovely,
would be. Yeah. Nature, nurture, and neuter. There's another option. We didn't talk about that one, did we? Should we go with nature, nurture, or neutering?
Well, it does feel like humans are being a bit neutered at the moment.
Oh, controversial.
Well, I mean, what is a neutered animal? It's an animal that can't that can't express itself freely. Okay.
Or reproduce itself, really.
Exactly.
And that's what you want to do to Jimmy Choo in his weight loss procedure upcoming, isn't it? You want to take the nature out of the man.
Yeah, I do actually want to get his nuts cut off.
Right. Nature is nature. The better the nurturing, the better the world. And actually, when we've talked about Jimmy Choo's castration before now, there has been, some people saying, yes, it's the responsible pet owner thing to do. And others like, no, don't you dare.
Yeah, I mean,
and others saying they'd make a fantastic pair of earrings.
I mean, like Carl and I, obviously, we've got 3 children together.
Yes, so clearly I haven't been castrated. Is that what the point you're making?
Well,
or should be?
Yeah, I mean, like we believe in recreation and procreation.
Pollination.
And we're like without like expressing too much about us. In fact, I need to just I actually just need to shut up, or else
right.
I will say too much.
I don't know what she's going to say, but I know she's probably made the right call.
We're natural, there. Like we believe in natural things to the best of our ability, and to kind of follow the natural path of things. And so it does feel kind of wrong to cut his nuts off.
This
However,
is the dog, not me.
It's not Carl.
Yes.
But yeah, but we've got this.
But you're going to do it anyway.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know.
Well, you're not going to do it anyway. I've got some cable ties. Good evening.
Yeah.
How is the weather? Z Trader, sorry to be talking of this subject. We go straight to your comment. Very cold in Chicago. That's another way of doing it. Freeze the
Freeze
nuts
them
off. Tomorrow night, -4 Fahrenheit. That's proper cold, isn't it? Phoenix.
I mean, it's been beautiful
Phoenix.
today. It's been really, really great today, isn't it? It's been lovely and warm. And right now, the walls are a bit cold.
Yeah, it's a bit chilly, but
Yeah.
nothing like some of these people are experiencing tonight. So I'm so sorry to hear of these terrible temperatures, folks. And we're keeping the Portuguese pilot light lit. So it's Phoenix that Jodie's from.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in tonight,
I don't know.
Jodie.
I don't know anyone from Phoenix.
The fear
I do now, but
the fear you do know the fear of violence gets further fed by the
Yes.
media and the polarization
Yeah.
in our current society. Take time to take a deep breath.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually going to do that. I hope you all enjoyed that and did that yourselves as well. Talking about being joyful, I am dancing the happy dance and looking forward to being there. Yes, Giandis. Just received news.
Oh,
our offer for house. Oh,
congratulations.
yes, because you were talking about this, weren't you, a couple of days ago, looking forward to coming to Portugal. Do you want to say where it is?
Yeah, let us know where
Yeah,
you're moving
gun
to. That's so
violence
exciting.
is real in many areas of the US. A man was shot
Wow.
outside my apartment and people shoot guns for fun in my area. Yeesh.
Oof.
I've had a gun pulled on me about 30 years ago. Yikes.
See, we can't
we
really
can't relate, can we?
No,
We can't relate
it's
to
just
that.
not really part of our culture.
Nope.
I mean, we do hear about crimes going on in parts of London, but nothing. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like as big a problem.
Yeah. First time I've been in a shopping mall in 5 years was here in Portugal. Wow.
Wow.
Didn't feel safe in the US. That's amazing, Cindy, isn't it? Like your hot water bottle, Mrs. M. Jenny B earlier said she was bringing one for her dog. It must be
Heating
a
one
Portugal
for her
thing.
dog.
Oh, a heating.
Or
No, hearing one.
Hearing one for
Or
a dog.
wearing one, maybe. For her dog. It must be. And her and her
Right.
yogurt pots. It must be a pizza.
It's
thing.
a
Yeah, mine
big
is hanging
old
out.
fairy one.
Who doesn't love a big old fairy one in the evening? Who shall not? That's the catchphrase.
That's Jimmy's catchphrase.
It is,
isn't it?
but that is our catchphrase of the morning show now. Who doesn't like a ...
Okay.
in the morning? He who shall not be named, also called sore loser by Biden yesterday.
Oh.
Surely Joe didn't manage to string a sentence that long together. Oops, sorry. That's just noted. Oh,
Walnut whip still
whip.
available.
I had a box
Wow.
of 6 as an Xmas present. What? They do them without the nut too, but then it's just a whip, isn't it? Can I have a 6-pack of whips, please? If there's no walnut, it's not really a walnut whip. Come on, Dougie. For those with allergic reaction issues or allergies, as they're more simply known. Caldash de Monchique in the Algarve. Yes, drinking the Monchique water.
Yeah.
Tonight, Bearders, very nice. Monchique, good shout. Lucky, yeah, if you want it a bit hotter, definitely. That's like that curry joke, isn't it? What's that? What's the chicken taka? It's like a chicken tikka, but it's hotter. Caldash de Monchique in the Algarve, we're all night. In the Algarve Spa-Town. So yes, hot Algarve Spa-Town compared to the ones I mentioned, which is central Portugal. But the ones in central Portugal are near the Barrada district area, region. So you'll get, do both.
You get wine and a spa treatment.
Do it all. But you will in the Algarve as well, of course. Lucky in the UK with the NHS, Americans would benefit with some similar structure in USA, except without so many consultants and this snake oil salesman from Big Pharma. We know where you stand. Spangled. Is that...
Here we go. You got them onto sweets, didn't you, from the 80s?
I remember Spangled. People love talking about their childhood sweets, don't they? Do you remember how you could buy 500 sweets for £1 that your uncle had given you straight down a sweet shop? I'll have a mixture of blackjacks and fruit salads, please. Now I have to look at Bovril, but we'll not mention it here. No, you can. Spangles, not Spangles.
Bovril and Marmite taste very different.
They are very different, aren't they?
Yeah.
One's beef extract, one's yeast extract, neither of which sound very appetizing. Oh, Castelo Branco region, 6-bedroom villa plus.
Very
Check
nice.
you out, Jaundice. Or probably for what, 20 grand?
No.
That's why all hippies are leaving. Thank you so much for this fantastic community. Please, no castration. So Jodie says no for Jimmy Choo.
Yeah. It's not looking likely because Carl does all the dog stuff and you're not.
I'm dragging my feet.
Yeah, he's dragging his balls on the floor.
To use a really unpleasant metaphor. Aveiro is such a strange place to visit. Canal Central de Aveiro is quite small, whereas the main town is a bit of a concrete jungle. It's still a place to tick off bucket list, though. Yeah, absolutely right. And Botard Ubi's here as well. How's your journey going, Ubi? Botard Atoros. You can buy some peanut butter and Marmite. Oh, you can.
Yeah, we've had that, and
That is who did
we
that?
didn't like
Did
it.
someone buy that as a present?
We
for
had
us?
some people come over from the UK to visit Portugal,
Yes,
and they brought some as a present for us.
they did.
And it was too salty. It wasn't very nice.
Yeah, no, but people do that, and that's.
I mean,
why, you know,
we do have peanut butter and Marmite and toast, but we like to do it in our own little quantity.
to get the
Yeah,
concentrations
it
right.
had too much Marmite for the peanut butter, I think. But
Oh yes. Hey, from the Algarve. From, do you want to say that? Zeki Batata. That's a Portuguese. That's a Portuguese name, isn't it? So bola and batata. But I don't know what a zeke is.
it could be
oh,
Zay.
it could be a cebola batata, isn't it? It could be the onion potato person. That's what it is, isn't it? Zay onion potato. Good evening to you from the Algarve. Lisa M. I heard there are some ancient petroglyphs. What are petroglyphs? In the I think they're probably, are they the cave paintings in Villanova de Foixcoa? Has anyone had a chance to see them? No. And spaying and neutering. Suze has a word to say on that. Spaying and neutering. Yes, I'm already worried about all the strays I hear about in Portugal. Don't need any more. So yeah, that's a fair comment.
See, the thing with our
Zé
Jimmy,
Cebola,
Jimmy
yes.
Jew,
Yeah.
he likes to go for a bit of a wander. And one of my fears is people might find out where we live and come round with about
10 puppies.
10 puppies.
Yes.
Oh, a real nightmare.
It's true.
Like, I mean, when we moved from our last, where we used to live to where we're living now, we put him in a kennel for a week because
we're on the road, weren't we?
We were on the road, and the person that was looking after him said he kept escaping
or trying to,
or
for
trying
sure,
to escape.
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
What?
It's that picture of the walnut whip.
Somebody has sent a picture of their walnut whip, which is not as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, I mean, he just goes wandering. Like when we used to live on the farms, he would just shoot off, and literally, that's my fear, is that he's going to shoot off, and we're going to have loads of puppies.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a fair comment, and we don't want to be adding to the stray dog population or having to pay Jimmy's massive maintenance payments. Should that happen? Oh, this was great that happened this week, wasn't it? Luke and Sarah, who've been on the morning show, they were on Ben Fogle's show.
Oh, really?
Keep up, Ben.
Nice.
Keep up, Ben. New Lives in the World. He made one of his fantastic chair creations. So there you go. Yeah, Luke is such a lovely. Oh, they're both lovely, but Luke is such a modest and unassuming fella. And yes, we will show off your walnut whip in just a moment, Dougie. Watched half an hour of video. I watched a half-hour video of driving around Castelo Branco. It appears to be a very modern city. I tell you what, yeah, that's the city, isn't it? The town rather than a district. Matty's in the country, and I must share the picture he sent in of his little trip across Castelo Branco. It is absolutely beautiful. Oh, a couple for you. Which are fantastic to share as well. So the news in just a moment. Now, have I spoken out of turn? Have I offended people tonight by asking you who your go-to people are for the law of attraction and co-creating your reality? I did put forward Esther Hicks, and I put forward not Greg Braden.
Why would you think people are offended?
Because no one said anything.
Well, maybe they're not into the law of attraction.
Or maybe they just don't want to talk about it. I don't know. Or maybe they just think, God, there he goes again, banging on about all that hippie nonsense that he can't say on a weekday morning.
We just want to have a laugh.
Yeah, just want to have a laugh and talk about sweets. And none of this mumbo jumbo of co-creation. Oh, I've got some lovely pictures. Lovely, lovely pictures. These just in. Walnut whips and pictures of Castelo Branco. Thank you for this one, Dougie. So you say this is Portimao. Where the night was it? The night you met Frank? It's been too long since I saw Frank. I'm really looking forward to seeing Frank soon. Yeah, this is Portimao in the evening. I met our Frank. I was staying in Silversh that evening.
Wow,
how nice! And this is a walnut whip, everybody, in case you didn't know. Boo Nestle. If you want to boo Nestle, do it now. So 6 in a pack there. Thank you very much for that, Dougie. Hope you enjoyed each and every one of them. And this, folks, is Castelo Branco, sent in by Matty. January, oranges on the trees. The long view of an amazing barraging there, and an even better view of it there. Look at that.
That's stunning,
isn't that beautiful? With the terraced hills there, where they're growing things. Maybe wine, maybe grapes. I mean, you don't grow wine, do you? You can grow grapes. But the bend in the river there, or that's a river, isn't it?
In
rather than a
Portugal, they
reservoir.
create a lot of rice as well, don't they? They grow a lot of
But
rice.
that's down Ribatejo way. I don't think they grow
Oh,
any
okay.
rice in the Castelo Branco, but not sure. But that's a fabulous picture.
So gorgeous.
Yeah, and this is San Martino de Porto today. Some big breakers out there, some big white horses, some stallions.
Where did you
on the
take that
horizon.
photo from?
That's not me. That's Cindy B
Oh.
who sent that one in tonight. So thank you for that, Cindy B. There you go, folks. The big, and you were saying 30 footers, I think, Cindy B, there for those. Okay, so well, if we've not got much more to say on the law of attraction and creating your own reality, and 2022, is it nature or nurture? How much more of this do we put up with of the societal imposition, and how much have we co-create and generate? We'll wind it down for the evening. But great photos, Matty. Did that sound a bit threatening? If you won't talk about law of attraction, I'm going. Harumph.
No, not at all. But
okay, so let's just put that on again for a moment there. Is this the one you mean? I think that's amazing. And I can feel that picture on, from the journeys we've driven through central Portugal and Castelo Branco. The sun is intense and the views are breathtaking. Absolutely delightful. Yeah, absolutely.
It's always worth having a scarf with you if you're driving on a hot day, because sometimes the sun coming through the window can really, if you've got pale skin like I have, you can get really burnt. So I just fold my scarf over the top of the window and do it up.
Very good.
So, because all of a sudden it can really beat in, and it's
and always wear nylons in case the fan belt breaks as well driving through Castelo Branco. Alan Tejo, I've heard of some good megalithic cromlechs, Lisa. Now I'm here. I don't know a lot about this subject, but standing stones, megalithic, Neolithic, these ancient stones and formations are here in Portugal. It's just not something I've really looked into, but I'd be more than delighted to do that. And is this a name? Almandras is a location possibly for you there, Lisa, from Fiona and Simon. And Aviva, talking about the earlier troubles in society, I think the news makes it sound much worse. Of course, I might be very lucky. And, well, I reckon the law of attraction manifested our plans to buy a second home in Portugal. Over several months, it has almost been an obsession. And by that, do you mean you've been thinking lots about it, and you've been thinking positive thoughts about it, and you've drawn it towards yourself, and you focused on what could happen, what might be, what would be great, what makes you feel good, rather than just the other sort of stuff? You got to pop off, haven't you? She's just popped off. Ciao, ciao for now. Come back in a moment. So, yeah, or because it's very understandable, isn't it, in the emotional stress of buying a place in Portugal, to get more involved in the it'll never happen, and so many problems, it's so difficult, but blah blah blah. But it sounds like you haven't gone that way, Giannis. Would you mind telling us more? William, I love the photos of Castelo Branco. Looking forward to driving around it. Yeah, I can see you there doing that. And Beaters 22, Almandras Cromlech, a Cromlech near Évora. Very peaceful and spiritual. They look like Stonehenge's baby brother. We must do more of this in the mornings, mustn't we? Maybe get somebody on who really knows about this sort of stuff. Law of attraction, power of commitment. Commitment only works at 100%. Nothing less will do. Mine is to get to Portugal, and faster than reason dictates. I love miracles. That's what we're talking about. And yes, exactly, says Jean-Dis there. Okay, I think that's tonight. Well, love you and leave you for this evening. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing hour and a half already. And do appreciate you stopping what you're doing, especially those of you in the United States. I know I've got other things to do of an afternoon and early evening. So thank you for sparing that time and sharing that time with us. Jean-Dis, just continuing here. We didn't plan on buying before arriving there, but things just happened sooner than we imagined possible. So you let it in. You let that happen. And thank you very much, folks. Look forward to your company on the Good Morning Portugal show next week. We have Gilda, of course, on Monday. Let me just tell you what's coming up for Good Morning Portugal. I need to refer to my notes. We have such a range of people with us now. It's fantastic. Every day, pretty much a guest every day on the Good Morning Portugal show. And let me just tell you what's happening for the next week. The doc will be with us on Wednesday. We will have Spartan's Ben or Sarah on Tuesday. And what are we doing on Thursday? Oh, yeah, Thursday. I'm hoping to get Raphael, the beautifully spoken and rich and fruity voiced Raphael, on Thursday. We'll see what happens there. And on Friday, we will welcome Philomena Friday. So Philomena on Friday, and the doc on Wednesday, regulars, and Sarah Orben from Spartan, and Nuno Mendes from Winsurance will be with us on Tuesday, and Gilda on Monday. Raphael to be confirmed on the Thursday. It's a bon night from Jean. Kind of craving toast. Funny that, isn't it? Then off to bed. What happened there? Planted that seed. There you go. There's your law of attraction. Talking about toast, and now you got to go and have some. Hopefully, you'll be able to manifest some bread in the bread bin, and you won't have to go out searching at 1:30 in the morning for a loaf of bread, Suze. Now that we've created that craving in you, thanks, lovely people from Nubianet, and just to eat walnut whips covered in anchovy. Just off to eat walnut whips covered in anchovy paste from that party bag left over from that visit a little while ago. Night all from Bearders. Thank you so much, everybody. We will go back to that lovely theme that I love this so much. And I think it's so prescient as well. The spirit of 1974 and the thirst for freedom. See you next Saturday if this is your preferred access to what we do here, or see you in the mornings if you can manage to stay up really late and join us for that, or get up really early, or whatever it is you have to do. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.
On the 25th of April, the MFA announced that the people should remain at home because they feared armed confrontations on the street. But the Portuguese population clearly disobeyed the military orders to stay at home because the thirst for freedom overcame all fears. And so people took the streets to the thousands and supported the military coup to force the resignation of the leader of the regime. The people brought red carnations and distributed them to the soldiers, who stuck them in their rifle barrels, making the flower the symbol of the revolution. The revolutionary process of 74 and 75 was one of the liveliest experiences in Portuguese history. In 19 months, there were 2 failed coups, 6 provisional governments, the process of independence of the colonies, several mass strike waves, demonstrations, occupations of thousands of houses, a profound agricultural reform, occupations of land, the creation of workers' cooperatives, workers' councils, trade unions, neighborhood commissions, self-managed factories, businesses, offices, newspapers, and radios. Because the thirst for freedom overcame all fears.